want that. I ain't about that spicy shit.
Yeah. Spicy food's good, but it does not agree with me. Like I love it, but I hate. Like my body hates it.
Could you balance it out with something that's super not spicy, and then
it doesn't.
What,
What
water?
if you just no. See, spicy. It's like pH levels, right? You got acidic, you got basic.
So all you need to do is just eat a bar of soap.
You need to eat soap when you eat jalapenos, or drink a gallon of milk. What you need to do, everyone at home, drink a gallon of milk. See how fast you can drink a gallon of milk.
And
Okay?
then you die. And then you fucking
Robin.
die. Because your stomach explodes.
Hey, Liv, what's up?
I just remembered something you used to do every once in a while back in the day. Speaking of drinking gallons and gallons of things.
I don't know
I'm
what
sure
you could be
You know
referring
exactly
to.
what I'm thinking about. You know, I'm thinking about the eggnog.
Oh shit, maybe.
Robin here could grab a freaking liter container of eggnog and chug the thing in 10 seconds.
I think my record is, so it's a quart, and I drank it in 17 seconds.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's why I keep telling
I
people. It's
I
you're the
watching
friend
you do
in
this.
senior year of physics.
Yeah.
We just walk in with donuts in the back door because it's so far away from the front door, or the front of the room. You're like, you want a donut? And as you're eating the donut, Robin just starts chugging something. You're like, oh, okay.
See, senior year, I didn't have my driver's license yet because I had just turned 17, and I just hadn't gotten it yet at that point. And I had early release, but with no car, I just had to basically walk around the school. So what me and my buddy Willem would do, we'd walk down the street, leave campus, walk down the street to the general store, buy a couple things of Oreos or Velveeta, some soda, eggnog because it was wintertime. And we'd walk back to the school and we'd just walk around from classroom to classroom, and I'd chug eggnog, or I'd hand out Oreos to everyone, and me and Willem were just kind of the wanderers.
Yeah. I don't even think the teachers noticed half the time.
Oh, they did.
They did? Well, they probably noticed the food, and that's when they noticed, but they didn't. At least the room I was in.
Oh, we just walk in the room. The teacher's gonna notice if two
Oh.
kids that aren't in their class just walk into the classroom.
Well, we had lab. So our teacher would go and do his own thing while a bunch of people were running around.
You were the exception. Me and Willem used to walk into psychology a lot. Psych teacher noticed.
Very,
They
very
knew we were
appropriate. The subject is very appropriate because you're testing their psychology.
You want Oreo?
You were they could use you as the example of who not to interact with.
What's that?
Remember, if somebody offers you drugs.
You ever watch WWE? Apparently there's psychology behind offering someone food before the match.
Wait, the person you're gonna fight or somebody in the
Yeah.
audience?
Yeah, the person you're gonna fight. If you offer someone food and they take it, there's some psychology behind you are now the higher person because you provide them food.
Yeah.
There's supposedly something behind that.
Okay, and that's different from that one MMA fighter where he just kills his opponents with kindness, where he gives them flowers or
Yeah,
hugs and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
But then he manages to kick their butt because
You
they're
kick their
not
ass.
friends. They're not friends. Why would you beat up your friend? Dude, there's some crazy moves in MMA. When I think about it, there was one video I saw. This guy jumped off of the cage that they were in, and with the same foot he jumped off the cage with, he roundhouse kicked the guy in the chin
Mm-hmm.
and knocked him to the ground.
Or what was that, a month or two ago? There was that one where he kicked up and the guy caught it. And with his other foot, he just spun around and with the back of his ankle straight to the fucking temple of the guy who was holding his foot.
No, it wasn't the temple. It was straight on. It was if he was looking straight at the person, the chin, the
Was it
ankle went
the
straight.
jaw?
It was straight into the jaw.
Ooh.
Not around, because that's why it looked like it hurt so bad.
There's some great edits out there of that. But yeah, that was fucking wild, dude.
Dude, there was another guy. I can't remember what happened, but he went to duck down, and he got pretty much as parallel to the ground as he could while still standing up.
Mhm.
And it was the last second, literally the last second, where he threw up his back right elbow and just knocked out the guy with his elbow.
Oh shit!
I can't remember what they called it. It was like, I don't want to say like a zombie elbow or something, but I heard somebody call it that. Oh, so I had maintenance guys come in and fix my water
Yeah,
because it was fucking freezing.
shit was coming out lemonade. Had to fix that shit.
I'm a lemonade man. It was just fucking freezing cold, and I didn't know if I wanted to really report it because they probably would have said, "Oh, it's because it's cold out, the water can't heat up as much."
Cold outside. No shit,
Now-
it's cold.
That was kind of it. The cold water was extremely cold, like essentially straight from the outdoors because that's where it cools off, I suppose. But they took apart my shower, and it turns out the water pressure was uneven. So I was getting much more cold water.
The
instead of
water
hot
just
water.
wasn't boiling?
No. So like they had the shut off valves, and when they turned the shut off valve completely off for the cold water, hot water was barely going, and it still wasn't warm. But like the cold water was fucking freezing. And it turns out somebody forgot to do their job and turn on like or open the hot water to second floor well enough. But yeah, it's all fixed now. And then as payment, I gave him a rant about Poland. Because we got on the topic of talking about history. And I started telling him the history of Poland. He's like, "Oh, I heard it was a beautiful place." I was like, "Yeah, it is, but the Soviets had a thing called ugly-ass architecture. And they're still trying to recover from that." So, like, I saw all these different, like, graffiti things of, like, some of them would just be Polish words, some would be, like, the swastika, some would be, like, no Jew or something, like, crossed out Star of David.
Based Poland.
And the only thing that was crossed out consistently was the hammer and sickle. Every single time I saw a graffitied hammer and sickle, it would always be spray painted over. But yeah, I went on this huge rant about how Poland got fucked over by Germany, Russia, and Austria-Hungary. Austria-Hungary.
There you go. Yes,
Jesus Christ.
you got it.
Yeah, they're just Germans. They're just in denial. They're like the Canadians of Europe. 'Cause they're-
Canada never invaded the U.S.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what's Canada denying
Canada's
themselves?
quite nice, actually.
No, I'm saying they're so similar culturally.
But
Like, sure,
they're
they're
a
slightly
different
different.
place.
Sure, they're slightly different, but they're essentially the same.
They're a whole different country, though.
But that's what I'm pointing out, Susan. Is that Germany and Austria-Hungary are different groups, but they're essentially the same everything. They do have like a stronger connection to Germany because their ethnicities are Germanic. But like they get so pissed off when you call them German. I had a lady shut me down once because I accidentally said German instead of Austro-Hungarian. I'm like, oh my bad.
My bad, bro.
Because I went into a communion and was just like, I don't care about first communions. I'm doing this shit. And I ended up asking the lady behind me and her daughter, like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. They're all speaking German. Can you help me out? And they're like, oh, they're doing communion. And the daughter fucking was laughing her ass off the whole time, but the mother was like that angry German stereotype.
Yeah.
So I did this weird thing where, like, I was trying to pay attention to what people did when they were getting the little, like not bread, but what is it?
That's the communion,
Yeah, the communion.
the Eucharist.
What the fuck? Like,
You can tell who's
eucalyptus?
religious here.
Eucalyptus? I don't know Australians invented Jesus. But no, when they gave me the communion, I was like, I tried my best to blend in, and I don't know if it worked because I did the little like
Uh-huh.
the hand thing like that.
The sign of the cross.
Yeah, the cross.
Uh-huh.
The
And then
hand
he
thing.
gave me the communion, and then I just kind of like bowed and turned and walked away.
Mhm.
So I hope that was all I needed to do. But then the mother and the daughter were trying to catch up with me, and they're like, "Oh, so like, just trying to get to know me." And as we were walking out, we were like 10 feet from the door, and I said, "Oh, that's crazy. I mean, people always talk about German efficiency or Austro-Hungarian or Austrian." Like, oh.
What?
And right as we got out of the church, the mother didn't really take any time to be like, "Bye."
She's like, fuck you. You thought I was German.
Yeah, which was funny because I think she was an American who married a German or an Austrian.
Bitch, get off your high horse.
Yeah, get off your high horse.
Actually, we're Austrian.
Well, actually.
Actually, you're American.
Dude, but the daughter was really fun to talk to because like she was obviously the more like happy of the two,
Yeah.
and just the more like I don't know, she's just energetic or whatever you call it because like I guess she wasn't expecting to see a clueless American in her communion.
I mean, I guess if I saw, like, if I went to Mass in Burlington, Vermont, and I saw some clueless dude from Taiwan, I'd be like, what you doing here, my dude?
Yeah.
What's good?
Or if like you accidentally found yourself in a Korean church or something.
Mhm.
What are fucking Korean churches like? I've only seen them. I've never actually been.
Dude,
They're like
Korean
regular
Jesus.
churches, but Korean.
Korean Jesus, dude. Just like 22 Jump Street.
Jesus.
21
21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Oh, what you said.
That was kind of strange.
Man, I don't think you've said anything this whole podcast.
I haven't. I've been trying to think of something to say, but
We're
I've
almost
been.
15 minutes in.
Yeah, I've been.
Say nothing. One more
Well,
goddamn
y'all-
time.
Well, y'all were talking about geography, and I ain't no geographer. So,
What?
yeah. So I
You
was
know
like,
what she said.
yeah. Nothing has really happened besides the weather being crappy. Now, here's the thing that we can definitely talk about, that I want to talk about. Who here actually knows how to drive in the snow?
Me.
Me.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Didn't you get your driver's license, like, after high school?
No.
No?
I
When did you
was,
get your
I was in
driver's
junior. I think it was junior year. I was in the driving program.
license? Okay.
You guys
They don't
have
give
Or
us
maybe
one
no.
of those.
I think I
Hold
got
up,
my
hold
permit
up,
after high
hold
school.
up. Time out.
But
You in a driving program?
Yeah.
we had these old ass like arcade
You and me are on the
looking.
same page.
We had these. We had this
I had
one
my
room.
grandpa.
Listen. We had this one room where they taught us the basics of driving before we actually got in the car, and they didn't upgrade this thing, so it was the oldest fucking driving room ever. It was just a giant room with a bunch of like, I don't want to call them bumper cars.
Think of it like you go to an arcade and there's those, like, NASCAR games. You sit down and there's, like, the steering wheel and there's the seat you sit in.
Yeah.
It was like that, but there was no screen in front of it.
Yeah,
Instead, it was a whole room of rows of these things. It was just the driving wheel and the seat that you sit in and some pedals that aren't connected to anything. And in front of the room, there was a projector screen.
Yeah.
And they just used video from, like, the 60s.
and the
And they're
cars.
like, the car is going. Try to match what the car is doing.
Well, and the bodies of these little car machine things that you sat in were from like the 60s too. Had the giant fucking steering wheel with the 3-prong like
Mm-hmm.
to the center. There was no horn. You had to use like one of those sideways shift sticks. And the seat belts were three points. So you had not 3 point because that's the one we have today, but you had to buckle them in 3 times.
Mhm.
So
The same way or different ways?
wait, no,
Did you buckle the
No, that-
same way
no,
or
'cause
differently?
I can't remember because they had like different segments they had to connect to each other. This is before the 3-point was invented.
Well, anyway,
So
it
like
was
you
this
couldn't
really
grab
old,
and fold. You had to,
really
like,
old room.
attach
we-
and attach.
Yeah, we had that was a whole class. I took driver's ed, and so there would be you'd be put into driving groups. So like every third class, you'd be out on the road and you'd actually take turns like driving a Super Forester,
Yeah, and there's usually like 3 or 4 of you.
and the
So-
other 2 weeks you'd be in the classroom learning like these are what the road signs are and this, that, and the other.
They didn't teach us shit.
Yeah, no.
We have no such thing.
But I mean,
Yeah.
essentially, the program was just you look at things in the classroom, and like, look at these signs. They're self-explanatory. You're like, okay. And then you go out on the road and you practice driving, and then you practice like parallel parking or turning and whatnot. And then The only eventful thing I had was the girl who was a senior at the time, so grade above me. She kept hitting the curb when she parallel parked. And then she just I could tell she started copying everything I did.
Who was it?
It was Taryn something.
Aaron. I don't know that one.
Yeah, I had my grandpa.
Yeah, my mom taught me.
Yeah. It's
They don't teach us. They rely strictly on the parents of the child to teach them.
Yeah, and if you don't get your license, then
So I
okay.
failed my second driver's test because I didn't use a turn signal. Okay, so you're pulling onto a 2-lane road.
Yeah.
And you want the right lane. Instead of turning into the left lane, blinkering, going to the right, I just turned into the right lane.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you do.
And they're like, yo, that's illegal. And I was like, says fucking who?
Wait, you said at an intersection you're turning into
So she's turning left from.
Oh, you're turning
You're at a
left.
4-way intersection. You're turning left into a 2-lane road.
Okay, I didn't
You're
get
supposed to
that.
turn into the left lane, and if you want the right lane, you turn to the left,
Yeah.
turn like wrong, get into the right lane. She just kind of went. So if there was an oncoming car from where she started originally that was trying to turn right on red, she would have cut them off immediately.
Fuck.
I mean, I still, I looked and shit. I just didn't do the blinker part.
Yeah.
I skipped a step. So I failed. Afterwards, I was like, yo, Mom. And I told her about it. I was like, did you know that was illegal? She's like, no, and I just did that.
Yeah.
So-
Well, that's also pretty weird.
So, if it says anything about Missouri driving.
Well,
Yeah. I got a funny story about my driver's test. So failed the first 2 times for my written test. Then I passed, got to my driving test. I only took the driving test once. And I didn't know how to turn on and off my windshield wipers. I couldn't find the hazard side. I didn't make a complete stop at a stop sign. And I also drove down the wrong side of the road, but I passed.
Bro, you didn't take a complete stop at a stop sign during your driver's test?
I didn't
Yeah,
either.
and I drove down the wrong
Right.
side of the road.
And you passed?
And I passed.
I didn't either on the first one. They, there was a bush in front of the stop sign, and I rolled it, and they failed me immediately.
That'll happen.
the only thing I got.
Yeah, and I'm a really good driver. I really am. It's just I was so nervous because my job depended on me getting a driver's license. And so did my family, because I needed to provide and fun stuff like that, and and so I'm going down the street, and on your left-hand side, you're supposed to hang a left, and there's 3 different, I guess you could say, outlets. There's the one where you're supposed to go in, which is just straight across, and then there's the one that people exit out of to go down the street, and the one that people go into. Well, I decided to go into the one where people are supposed to exit. So I did that, and immediately I almost passed out. My face turned just completely pale white, and she looked at me and she's like, are you okay? And I didn't talk to her. And then I made a rolling stop and didn't completely stop at a stop sign. Yep, and then I went.
Last person I've ever
Here's
heard of.
the thing. I am extremely good at parallel parking. So when I got to the parallel parking part of the test, I did it real quick and easy, and I stopped there, and I'm just death gripping the wheel, and she's looking at me, and she's like, you missed a lot of things, but you said this is your grandmother's car, and you haven't been practicing with it, so I can let some of the things slide. Don't do this again. I'm giving you like a 79. You're free to go. Get your license. And I went, yay! So,
Jesus.
I got my license.
You passed on a 79? You had to get a 95 or above.
No.
You had to be good.
We had like what? Like a
It had to be at least a 70, 75, 76, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
What was our score?
Well,
I think
And no wonder Missouri drivers are like they are.
Yeah,
They just let anyone get it.
correct. Except for me.
What did we have as a requirement? Was it like at 85 or something?
No, it was a 95. It was 85
it couldn't have
for. It was 85 for the driver's ed exam, but the actual driver's license exam was 95.
I don't remember that because
I
when I took mine, I didn't do anything wrong really. I just passed somebody who told me to pass them, and she's like, "I'm taking points off because they were supposed to go." Like, fucking whatever. And I was below an 85. I think I was an 87. And I was kind of silly at the time because I was like, "Does that mean I have to pay more because I got a worse grade?" They're like, are those points going to be deducted for like when I get pulled over? Because I keep hearing people get like points off their license. And so I thought it meant if you go below passing, like they hold on to your grade, and if you go below passing,
No.
they take away your license.
Missouri, it claims you need an 80% to pass. But
I was in the 70s.
I'm pretty sure I was in the 70s as well.
I was also in the 70s.
I got a 98. I got one thing wrong. While parallel parking, didn't use my mirrors to check behind me. Like, I didn't use my center console mirror.
Yeah.
I instead turned around, saw, and then did it. And she was like, "You were supposed to check your mirror." And I was like, "What the fuck am I going to see in my mirror that I'm not going to see by literally looking directly behind me?" She's like, "This point's off for you." I was like, "Whatever." That was the only thing I did wrong.
So I took the written test 9 times. And I took the driving test 4 times.
A lot of times.
I'm aware. So the written test I started taking at age 15, like you're supposed to. I took it a couple times one summer and was like, maybe not yet. Maybe I'm not.
This is to get your permit.
Yes.
Okay.
I was like, clearly, I don't know what I'm doing and I shouldn't be on the road. I should stop. And didn't really think about it. I didn't really care to try again for a little bit. And then it was after freshman year of college that I was like, I should really, learn how to do this. So I took it. I took online practice tests, which will just feed you the questions repeatedly. And I memorized all the answers. And then I took it again, passed it, and was fine. The driving test was interesting. So the first test, it was a rolling stop. The second test, I didn't use my turn signal whenever doing the thing. The third test was horse shit.
Nice.
The third test, I was backing out of my parking spot, and this guy flew past me in the words. No, I was still in the parking spot in the parking lot. He flew past me, and because I did not see him while backing out, I failed immediately.
Yeah. I was going to ask though for the written part, like if you looked up those practice tests, like the practice
I
tests
did.
were written. Yeah, because as soon as I did that, it became so much easier.
Well, people were like, "It's common sense. You should know." And I was like, "Okay."
There's only certain parts that are common sense. It's only common sense once you learn it.
I actually, for my permit test, the written one, I actually failed the first time. I, by one question, failed it the first time.
Yeah.
And it was some shit with, like, motorcycles, and, like, I was like, that doesn't, why the fuck do I need to know that? But yeah, I did exactly what Susan did, and I just went online, and I took the quiz over and over again until I memorized the answers, and then I went back and I got 100.
See, I forever will remember this. I get to the test, and I took it 3 times, not 2. I apologize.
How dare you.
I know. And I'll never forget this one question. And it was like,
Was it the hydroplaning question?
no, it was about getting points. There was a point system at
Oh,
some
yeah.
point. And I'm like, yeah, you get 3 points if you hit a child, You get 15 points if you hit an elder with an animal. Without an animal, it's 10. You know, just, and I'm thinking, I'm like, what in the hell kind of point are you talking about? And so now whenever I see a kid or like a parent, I'm just like, that's 15 points right there, and I still, to this day, still do it.
Like
it's
a
just
video
stuck in my
game.
head. Yeah, it's exactly like a video game.
Whenever I gave up on the permit the first time, it was after I got a question wrong that was just absolute horseshit. So, when do you start hydroplaning? Like, at what speed?
Like 20 miles an hour or something, right?
It really
Something stupidly
depends.
slow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What did they say was the correct answer?
They said it at a very low bar because they wanted to scare people so they didn't drive fast.
So, it was like 35, 30, 20, 65, like just random numbers.
I mean, I guess I could. Let's see.
And-
Because I drive for a living. I guess I'd say 35.
That's what
probably.
I said. I was incorrect.
What was it? 30?
They said it was like 45 or 50.
No.
And
I
I
don't know
went,
about that.
I don't know about that. And I Googled it, and Google was like, you can hydroplane at any given speed. And I was like,
Yeah.
well, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Fuck, Richard.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, maybe this isn't for me right now.
Yeah. But yeah, the driving part of our high school was really nice. 'Cause it just kind of, I don't want to say humanized because there's nothing to humanize about a car. It just familiarized you with everything.
Yeah.
And it was such a laid back class that it was essentially a study hall.
Yeah.
But if,
Oh, yeah.
but if you just drove every once in a while, or if you had this quick, like, here's a pamphlet of construction signs, look at how obvious they are.
Dude, my driving group was so great. So I had, I forget what their names were, but I had the better one. The one that wasn't
Yeah,
a quiet, old, creepy guy.
Wasn't it Mayfield or Mayfield?
Mayville? Yeah, I had the good one.
Me too.
And my driving group, I was one of 3. The third never showed up to any of the driving days, so it was just me and Andrew Elliott.
Oh,
And we just fucked around with Mr. Mayville for like an hour and a half.
Who's the redhead with the big palms, right?
No, you're thinking, fuck, what's his name? But no, Andrew was, he had, I feel bad categorizing him this way. He had really, really bad acne. Like, it looked like it hurt.
Oh,
Tall, very tall, blonde, bigger nose.
he's probably blanking from my mind, but I remember the name.
Usually wore a leather jacket. But dude, I also had him in advisory every single year.
Mhm.
So me and him were kind of buddies, and then it was just me and him for our driving group. We were like, fuck yeah. It was just me and Andrew fucking around with Mr. Mayfield all day.
Yeah, I really like that I had Mayfield. Mayville. Is it Mayville or Mayfield?
Mayville.
Mayville. 'Cause I heard stories about the other teacher who would grab the wheel from students. and
Yeah,
thought they
he
were
was a
doing
real
something
piece of shit.
wrong. Yeah.
He was a whiny little bitch.
I didn't know much about him, so I couldn't really comment. But yeah, if you grab somebody's steering wheel, that's fucked. Because you're not only teaching them that you're gonna fuck their shit up if that some random thing happens, you're teaching them to depend on the teacher. Not
I also-
themselves.
I feel like in
That's
movies and stuff, there's
rude
like
as fuck,
the
too.
driver's ed cars have like a second steering wheel and like brake
Yeah.
on them. We had just regular ass Subaru Foresters.
Yeah, we got new cars or something.
Yeah, don't get me wrong, they were nice vehicles, and like it was especially easy for me because I learned the like points for like where I need to look at when I'm doing
Yeah, the
a,
reference points were
my
amazing.
reference point because I used for my driver's like the actual test, I used my mom's Subaru Outback, so the points were like exactly the same. It really helped me a lot when trying to do like parallel parking stuff like that.
Yeah, because you guys know about reference points, right? Or did you not know because you were taught by parents and such?
Like parallel parking reference points?
Yeah,
Kind of, yeah. And then
Oh yeah,
also
I had
just general
diagrams
turning.
for my grandfather. It was
perfect. Yeah,
amazingly hilarious.
Nice.
My brother-in-law taught me how to parallel park because he was the only one of my family that knew how.
The only thing I don't remember from that course is there was a semi-parallel parking course where you like instead of pulling into a spot normally like directly,
Mhm.
you turn away from it and then you reverse into it. Kind of like a 3-point turn, but at the second point. And I never remembered that because I think that was just something Mabel was like, "Oh, I'll teach you guys something," because we were at Lowe's.
Yeah, he's just fucking around.
Yeah, we were at Lowe's, and he's like, "Oh, since we're here."
Dude, I remember he used to like just chat with me and Andrew and just give us like
Yeah.
life lessons.
We would
It was
talk
like,
a
man.
lot. And
Or like we kind of get the parallel paragraphy. Like, you guys got the basic premise. I can see what you got wrong. You obviously know what you got wrong. I think we're good to just head out.
I bumped my tire one time, and I fixed it, and he was just like,
I on my first time out there driving, slammed on the brakes because semi truck tried to cut me off. I was in his blind spot, and he was like, "That's really good instincts that you caught that because not many would."
If I was there, I'd just intervene.
I would simply intervene.
What could you do? Like, why are you special? I'm just built different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had this girl Taryn, and then a guy named Jack who was friends with who's the blonde rich kid? Something Donahue.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in his chemistry class as well. And occasionally I'd look over and they'd just be like, "Oh, Kevin." He would just be like, "Oh, I guess I just lost $500." And you're like, "Hey, fuck you. I'm working my ass off for $400.
Yeah.
Oh, but I went to go get my permit test because what happened? I just remembered, Rob. I didn't get my license until I was 18, so after high school. Well, so I remember now I didn't have my driver's license because I didn't want to get it until I was out of high school.
Yeah, something about car insurance.
Because my parents couldn't really pay for car insurance. We didn't have a need for it. I didn't drive everywhere. I either drove with people, I biked everywhere, or I walked everywhere. Which is like my dad.
You were right next to everything. You were at the junction.
Yeah. My dad did a really good job of picking out a house. So I walked or biked to school since I was like in first grade or so.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, dude, you were like right in between ADL and high school.
Somerset, ADL, Fleming. Okay, so Somerset and Fleming were right next to each other. They were one K through 3, and then
Are those the ones up on the hill behind the church?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Fleming was 4 and 5th, which is where the trench warfare story came from.
Yeah.
And then ADL was 6, 7, 8. That was the opposite direction. And then the high school was I can't remember.
Hello.
Hello.
That was
There we
someone
go.
else. Hi, Lim.
Welcome
He's
back.
back.
I missed you guys.
Sometimes my computer just decides to not connect to the internet anymore. I don't know what's going on with that.
You should tell it to not do that.
Yeah, I should have a conversation with it later.
Hey, bro.
Yeah, put your foot down.
Yeah, on the computer.
You tell it who's boss.
So, since I didn't get my
I'm
license
the
until I was out of high school, I went to get my permit test right after that class.
Yeah.
And I was gonna tell this as like the oh my god, look at this story, but now that it's like different states have different requirements.
Yeah.
There's a girl, her name rhymes with Carmela.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think I just tried to follow her on Instagram a couple hours ago.
Why?
I don't know. Gave me one of the recommended, and I was quite drunk.
Oh, okay. Well, given that she took the driving class and she should have known everything, my dad started talking with her mother, and they were just talking. And my dad's like, "Oh, my son's in here for the first test or something," and she just looks over and says, "Yeah, my daughter's this is her 5th time." I'm like, what? Now, I mean, she wasn't a bad, like, hearted person. She was just one of those where it's like, you never really know her
You're not the
capabilities.
same crew.
Huh?
But from the popular girl crew,
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, so it was, if you guys remember Taylor, where it's like she asked all these stupid questions. about history.
of Ethan Allen a part of World War II?
Yeah, it was.
It's a paddle boat. I
Was
don't think it was.
were there trenches in Virginia during World War II or
Dude,
World War
is
One?
Pearl Harbor in Hawaii?
Yeah. That was also one of them. That was fucking funny. So she's in that same group, and you're like, well, better luck next time.
We'll get him next time.
Dude, I wonder what's gonna happen during reunion.
Next time.
Dude, I don't even know.
Dude, I've been thinking about that lately.
Me too, because 5 years is coming up. This
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I think that's when we typically have
It's
the high
after
school reunion,
graduation.
right?
Yeah, it's like 5, 10, 15, 20.
Yeah, it goes in increments of 5. But I think 5 is the first one.
Yeah.
It is. But that's like right after graduation. You have 4 years of college, and then you had graduation, which was like a
Yeah,
semester.
you got a year after graduating college with a bachelor's, as most people would do. And then, hey, where are you in life? You know, I drive for Domino's in St. Louis now.
You should train. You should train for a Midwest accent.
Yo, that's like one of the people I went to school with is now a cop, and I'm just some gas station employee.
What? Who? What?
I'll tell you about it later.
Who the fuck's a cop? I don't trust any of those motherfuckers.
Some of them are nice, but
Nope.
some of them are assholes.
Not this one, apparently.
There was a
Did-
woman who was waiting at an intersection with like
Hold
train
on.
tracks, and my dad there was this one cop where she was just a fucking asshole. She was waiting at the intersection. There was no cars anywhere. My dad did the smallest rolling stop ever. He probably got to 1 mile an hour, right before the car does that little back and forth jolt.
Uh-huh.
And then she pulled us over, and in the middle of that, like 2 or 3 cars just speeded by us. It was right next to the high school too. Yeah, so I understand that, but there are some really.
Have I told the werewolf boy story on the podcast?
Perhaps. I think so.
Have I? Okay.
Dude, that reminds me, I got pulled over almost a year ago. It was right as COVID was happening. I got pulled over twice in the same week, actually. I got pulled over because my exhaust was a little loud at a red light, and a cop was right behind me. So he ran my plates for the hell of it and saw that my registration was expired. So he pulled me over. As soon as I fucking got through the intersection, he turns the lights on. And I go, he pulls me over, and he's very nice, and I was nice in return, but eventually, as I'm giving him my license, I was like, what exactly am I getting pulled over for? I wasn't speeding. You've been right behind me. I'd be an idiot to speed with a cop directly behind me.
Yeah.
He goes, well, I was sitting at the light, and I ran the plates, and noticed that your registration was expired. And I go, oh, shit. And also, my car has not been inspected. So my inspection and my registration are overdue.
Which car
You
was
guys
this?
have an
The Dodge.
inspection.
This was the last year.
Oh,
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Wait, does Florida not inspect your car?
No, Florida's famous for not inspecting
I pay
cars.
$40 a month for the privilege of using the I mean, $40 a year. I take that back. Like, literally, they just send you a letter, like, time to register, and then you just re-register. They send you your sticker, like, 3 days later, and that's it. No inspection. No nothing.
But yo, so I get pulled over. He's like, this is how it is. I'm very apologetic because I legitimately am like, oh shit. I
Wasn't
didn't
aware.
realize because
Yeah.
I'd never, the Ram wasn't technically in my name. The Civic wasn't technically in my name. And I only drove the Civic for like a few months.
That was the car you wanted to destroy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And the Dodge I had gotten in December, and this was a little over a year after I'd gotten it. So I was thinking about it as I was driving off. I was like, shit, yeah. But I was like, okay, so how do I fix this? How do I update this? Because I legitimately didn't know. But he didn't give me a ticket or anything, but he taught me how. He was like, you need to do this, this, and this. So I went to the DMV the next day, and I went and got it registered. And then 2 days later, I went to the dealership I got it from, and I had an inspection done. I needed new brake pads. They charged me like $300 fucking to redo my brake pads, and they had me by the nuts because I was already there. They already had them off. They were already doing my inspection. It was going to be an extra $70 to go and do an inspection again because they would have passed me, but they would have failed me if I didn't do the brake pads. I would have still had to pay the registration fee and then come back with new brake pads and then pay them the registration fee again to go through the inspection. And I was like, fuck this, fine. And so
Sounds like you got some thieves up there.
3 hours of sitting at the dealership and like $350 later, essentially. I'm driving home, and I'm driving through like Jericho, basically, and I'm going the speed limit. It's fine. I get into like Underhill, and there's a pretty steep hill and also a pretty immediate speed limit decrease by like 15 miles an hour. And so I start going down the hill, which it makes you accelerate. And I'm like starting to brake, but not really. I'm just kind of letting it happen. And suddenly there's police lights behind me. And I go, holy shit, what the fuck? It turns out the unlabeled white Toyota Corolla that's been behind me the whole time was an undercover state police officer who was waiting for me to get to the point where I would be going over the speed limit to immediately pull me over and give me a ticket.
What a weed.
Wait,
On the way home from $350 of inspection fees, he does this shit.
See,
Wait, they use Japanese cars as undercover cars?
It was a fucking white Corolla. What
That's
the
advanced,
fuck?
dude.
Yeah.
Dude, I always slow down when I see American cars, like especially Fords and Tahoes on the road. If I see like literally like a Nissan Sentra, it's like I'm out of here. I'll go as fast as I want.
Yeah.
That's advanced, bro. That's actually like
Out
Every
of
time I
fucking
see an SUV, I'm like, is that a fucking cop? Are you a cop? Are you a cop, bro?
Oh,
Or
by
the
the way, the
people-
best way to tell if a Ford Explorer is a cop model is to see if it has the roof racks.
Yeah,
If
that's
it
what I was
doesn't,
gonna
it's
say. It's like those roof racks. I was driving over here last week, and one scared the shit out of me because it was dark enough where I could only see like the horizontal part, and I thought that was the lights. I'm like, oh fuck.
I look at the license plates.
Yeah, especially around here, they have very different license plates. The license plates are red back home if they're a cop.
Oh, man.
But,
Here they're black.
What?
They're black and they have 3 numbers.
In
Or-
Florida, they give these Ford Explorers to like cops to like bring home, and they basically just drive them around. And the best way to tell is the lack of roof racks. They have like this special lighting package that only the unmarked cop cars have, that like literally only they have. And once you like figure out what it is, it's like super easy to spot it. And also they've got the let's see here. Yeah, they've got like the little light things in the grill, like the light bar. It's like concealed, and it's like super obvious because it's like no car has that, like no regular car.
yeah, dude.
But they have like regular license plates and everything.
What really stinks too is like cops usually get some fucking amazing jacked up cars because of the requirements they need for like chasing vehicles, making sure they have like stuff that doesn't overheat, stuff that can withstand a fucking like a train whenever they get hit. Just they have all these upgrades, and then they just spend all that time just trying to pull over random people who are
Just
speeding.
sitting around in Essex, Vermont.
Yeah, it's like seriously, you're gonna put that much money into a car, and you're just gonna stoop to the level of giving people who don't actually do anything tickets.
Do you guys have the? Do you guys have like the state troopers over there?
Yeah, we do. I don't
Do you guys
usually
have,
see
like-
them, but
Do you have like the state troopers with like the Dodge Charger SRTs and stuff like that?
they made a movie off of our guys.
I
The
Um,
Super Troopers.
the only place I've seen a statey with a Dodge SRT is New Hampshire Highway Patrol.
Florida Highway Patrol has freaking SRTs with like. They have like SRTs with the freaking they have like the special package or whatever, so they're like dropped to the ground. They go literally like close to 200 miles per hour if they want something insane.
Yikes.
Like they can if they want to, but they don't usually, or like they don't ever because like why would you?
Yeah, the only time
But
I've
like they're
seen that
capable.
is New Hampshire. Anytime I'm driving from Vermont down to Boston, driving through that little bit of New Hampshire, all the highway patrol cars are SRTs.
Dude, it's
Oh,
silly,
really?
man.
It's a little bit asshole clenching when you see it for the first time. You're like, oh fuck, real cars.
Nothing really happens in Vermont.
Not
You just like
No, dude.
not up north.
not up north. Like the whole story about that woman having to wait at an empty intersection to pull somebody over. That's essentially the only way they can like get people is if you just sit there and wait.
Yeah.
Even then, that's gonna be boring as hell.
Yeah, dude.
My mom got her first ticket in like 30 years or something like that when we lived back in Vermont,
Nice.
and she was going like 10 over, and they gave her like a $300 ticket and put like 3
Dude,
points on it.
That's the fucking, when I went down that hill, that story I just said about the Corolla, that's all he was doing. I was doing 10 over, bro.
It's like, put him in jail, clap him in irons.
They thankfully, I ended up getting a letter in the mail 2 weeks later. They dropped it. He dropped my ticket because COVID started happening. And it stated in the letter, it was like, the officer would rather not appear in court right now. So he dropped the charges.
Yeah.
I was like, that's, I mean,
if he had a good heart to him, I'm assuming he was also thinking about it. It's like, I just really sat behind a guy, pulled up his license.
yeah, he had been following me for the past 20 miles and waited for me to go down that fucking hill to give me a ticket. Fuck that guy.
So no, don't really say fuck him.
Yes, fuck that guy.
Wait, but he dropped it. So
Because he got scared of COVID.
scared of COVID. How many? I mean, because maybe he was,
This
but at
was
the same
back
time,
in March.
back like that was 10 years ago. Or it feels like it. But like maybe he was thinking about it and saying like, well, that was kind of a dick move. I'll just kind of be like, I don't want to go through with it. I'll spare everybody the time and the money. But the heartache is the only thing that really is left.
I mean, we can hope, but for real, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
On God, fuck that guy.
Let's hope.
Instagram. What is this, Lynn? What did you say? Oh!
If you check this is the stuff that we have to deal with down here.
This is the stuff we have to deal with?
That's
The
my
Chinese
heritage.
flag?
Oh wait, no, it's Chinese.
Mao Zedong, Luigi.
Wait a second, that's the wrong link. Wrong link.
What the fuck did you send
Wrong
me?
link.
I thought it was some like Middle Eastern shit. I was like, that's my family. Or
Wrong
a little
link.
bit of them.
What the fuck did you send me, Lynn?
That was like 3 hours ago.
It just went through.
What? Oh well, that was enjoyable. Fuck. I think I just sent you a link to like the cars that they use in New Hampshire and Florida, and I think most other states.
And then you get sent the fucking Chinese.
And then I just sent you like the
shooting itself on my phone too. The Wi-Fi
Looks like it.
shooting itself?
Yeah, it's shitting itself on my phone too.
Apparently, my dad hates the word "shat."
Yeah,
It's like because he's actually thinking like,
he
From the
prefers
definition.
shitted.
yeah, I was like, how do you actually shat anything? I'm like, it's just the same.
Pooping?
I know. But he's like, shat is no word, you shit. I'm like, it's like you past term, like in the past, do you shat or do you shit your pants? Like you can shit your pants and then you shat, she.
There's too much thought going into this.
I know, and I'm like, coming from my dad, who's like, he's very thoughtful, but not in that sense.
Yeah, but for the most part, he's like, this is too much thinking. I'm done with this.
And that was the first time one of the first times I've seen him get like uppity about a word. And every time I say it, he has to bring up that same argument.
It's like it's his one thing where he has an autist moment. He's like, but chat doesn't work.
Goodbye, internet.
Bye, man.
Idiot.
No, I wasn't saying goodbye. I was joking because you guys like just cut out all of a sudden abruptly.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Well,
It's just like you guys were all talking and all of a sudden just nothing.
The Minecraft server I went on last night, there's a heavy fucking thunderstorm in there.
Wayne.
I'm so sad.
Wainy days.
Rainy days.
I
What's that
don't
reference
want to
to?
play Minecraft anymore.
No, you burnt yourself out.
No.
So, we and a few other people that work at Domino's with us have a server on Minecraft. Where we just kind of fuck around.
Yeah.
And last night,
There's two simple rules. There's one simple rule.
don't fuck with people.
Don't fuck with other people's shit, bro. It's just one very simple rule. there was a man. I'm sorry. There was a boy.
I was a kid.
We didn't know where this person had came from, who he belonged to, who he was. And he left a note in our friend Morgan's house. He stole her dog.
You steal a dog.
You don't. You cannot unsit a dog that isn't yours. He murdered a dog, put a sign up that said, if you want to see the dog alive, put a block of diamond in the donkey. Because donkeys have saddle, like...
Oh.
I forgot we were talking about
Storage.
Monica for a split second.
And they put this in our Snapchat group chat, and it said, alright, who took Morgan's dog? And I went, well, I'm going to investigate immediately. So I went on the Minecraft server. There's no one on. It's just me. And I'm just, walking around trying to see if, maybe I can, find a little hideout where there's a dog hidden or something. Because, you could push it all the way somewhere.
Yeah,
If
put
you
a lead on
really, no, I tried.
it?
If you really wanted to, you could push the dog somewhere. But it won't unsit and follow you if it's not your dog. And this random boy comes on. And there's tons of people I don't know on the server. I don't know most people's usernames yet. And I went, hey, did you hear about all the theft? Because, everyone's like, dude, my diamonds are gone, this is gone, this is gone. I was like, did you hear about the theft? And he responded with, oh, you mean the dog? And I assumed he was in the group chat, so I was like, yeah, the dog.
Yeah, maybe it's Trey or something.
Yeah, I was like, maybe it's Trey and one of Joffrey's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And I was like, yeah, Morgan's dog. And he goes, oh yeah, that was me. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, if you don't want your shit blown up, I suggest you give the dog back by 8:30 p.m. And we were having a very civil conversation. It was him being like, yeah, okay, that's fair. My game's kind of laggy right now. It's blinking right now, I'm running out of an invisible potion or something.
Yeah.
And he was talking, and I was in the chat. I wasn't active. I was typing. And he charges me, attacks me, murders me. And then goes, you'll never find the dog. And he leaves. And I was like, okay, this is an act of war.
Yeah.
So I put in the chat his username. I put in our Snapchat chat.
Yeah, took a picture of the Minecraft text chat. I'm
Yeah,
like,
took a picture of the Minecraft chat, sent it to the Snapchat, and I was like, this is his username. This is what's going on. This, that, the other. And I'm like, Morgan, he's informed me that your dog is dead. I'm sorry. I will get bones. I will lead another dog to your location. I will help you find a new dog. And she's like, okay. And so my friend Brandon gets on. He's the morning driver with me. We get on. And we are in the middle of looking for a dog. We're deep in the woods. And I get a notification. Wayne has been slain. Wayne is my horse. Wayne has diamond armor on. Wayne was murdered. And I went, Brandon, he murdered he murdered my horse. He just murdered Wayne, which sets everything into motion of what I'm about to say. So whenever he came back on the server before he murdered Wayne, I was like, Brandon, that's him, that's the guy, that's the dude. We gotta find him, we gotta mark him, we gotta, this, that, the other. And then he's like, you'll never find me, LOL, and it was like, okay, whatever. And I'm far away from spawn right now, trying to find a dog. And then I got the notification about Wayne. And this, like, outwardly crushes me. I literally stopped what I was doing. I put my hands off of my, like, controls.
Mhm.
And I was like, and I was like, Brandon, he killed him. He killed Wayne. And then Brandon's like, Brandon in chat went, where are you? And I'm like, I'm in the middle of the woods. And he goes, no, not you. And he goes, motherfucker, where are you? And he's like, you'll never find a dog. And then he leaves the server again. And I go running back to spawn. And I look in Wayne's little makeshift stall, because that's what I was gonna do yesterday. I was gonna make him a nice little barn and like a permanent little place for him to hang out.
Yeah.
No, he was murdered. So I see an empty area, and I just stand there, head down, and I just go, I think I'm gonna get off for a little bit, and like, mourn.
Why can't you blacklist the guy?
We're getting there. I come back on after eating my Jack in the Box, and
Naturally.
Brandon and Tyler are texting in chat. Brandon is like, and I'm like, Tyler, I want him banned. I want him banned now. Tyler's like, I don't have that ability. That's only Josie. Only Josie can ban him. It's Josie's server.
Yep, she owns it.
And I'm like, okay, we'll wait for Josie. And then Brandon's like, don't ban him yet. I want to murder him.
No.
And I'm like, that's fair. Me too, kind of. And we're talking, and Sean's girlfriend, Miss...
Her name is Emily, but her username is Missy.
Okay. So, Emily. So, we're trying to determine what we should do with this man. And Emily's like, well, where is he? And he, in chat, goes, you'll never find me. And we go, when did you come in? Because we never got the notification that so-and-so has entered the realm, or whatever.
Yeah.
And, Emily finds him, murders him, and then Tyler found where he was spawning, and anytime he spawned in, he would continuously kill him.
Nice.
So it was just repeated. This guy was getting murked over and over and over and over and over again. And he goes, okay, I'll leave. And I went, oh, on God? Forever? You won't come back? And he's like, I won't come back. I'm sorry. And I'm like, I doubt that you're sorry, but okay. And he said a couple other shit. He was like, the dog's in the end, and we're like, doubt it, but okay. He sent goodbye, Susan, I love you, and I sent I hate you.
Yeah, he also was like, I was Susan's secret lover this whole time. I'm like, whatever, kid.
Yeah.
Watch it be.
And who was this dude again?
Just some kid.
Just some kid from Josie's high school.
Oh.
Just some high school fuck.
Just a weirdo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Apparently he was on the OG server before they reset it, and he was banned on his original account, so he made a new account so that he could get back on the server and fuck with shit.
Yeah. The thing is, he left before we could truly ban him, so if he just, still has the join code, like, he can still come in whenever the fuck he wants. He just... Yeah.
No, our server is supposed to be a little bit more secure. You need the code, and then you also need permission.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna let random people
Yeah.
in.
See, the problem is, we've had so many people that just give the code to their friends. The people that work at Domino's are just giving it out to their friends. So, like, originally when this guy was on there, we all looked at Tyler, because Tyler has a bunch of his friends from PS4 on. We were like, Tyler, which one of your fucking friends is being a cringe-ass motherfucker?
Yeah, and he's like, I don't know who this is.
So we go, oh shit, it's one of Joffer's friends.
So we went, Joffrey, get your boy. Joffrey was like, I've never heard of this man. So we were like, who the hell is this?
Who is
Well, I mean, that kind of works with friend groups anyway. If you span too fast, or it's not like unanimously decided, it tends to go a little haywire.
Yeah.
I mean, see what happened with the friend group we had a while ago.
Yeah.
Before that, and so on. So, I mean, it's just something you gotta work out.
fucking Rip Wayne?
Yeah.
Rip. You gotta
Never
make
hurt nobody know how. I did get my golden horse armor back though, because whenever they murdered him, Tyler was like, "What was on him?" And I was like, "Some of that stuff is mine because he murdered me and he took everything."
You can make Wayne the second though. Keep the name going. No.
No.
Any new names you're thinking of?
Well, Emily secretly gave me 2 new horses. I don't know how. I don't want to know how. She gave me 2 new horses. And whenever I said thank you, she said, and I quote, "Shh, I didn't do this." So Emily didn't do it, I swear. I have 2 new horses. I have a white one. Its name is Mystery. And I have a brown and white dotted one. I named it Squirrely Dan. And now I have 2 dogs named Stuart and Roll. Stuart! I have a 3rd dog. They had a puppy. I don't know what to name it. We'll figure it out.
How the fuck do you have so many name tags? I've only come across like 1 or 2.
See, what Susan does, she doesn't actually like mine. What she does is she adventures. That's her entire Minecraft playthrough. She just keeps going. And
Yeah, I just keep adventuring places, and I'll just like run into shit and be like, "Oh, cool, this is mine now."
She's really good at finding villages, finding like spawners, finding hidden chests, mine shafts, stuff like that.
Okay.
But she'll never find like diamonds or stuff like that in the way that she plays.
Yeah, I never find like useful things.
In the way
random
you're
things.
the exact opposite of me, whereas I just do strip mining at level 12,
Yeah.
and that's all I do.
I just came across your
That's
strip
strange.
lines. Your strip lines are weird because you do like a regular 1x2.
Yeah.
And you just keep going in the same. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
ideally you keep going in the same direction.
Yeah.
But then you branch out, and then like I don't know if you go back the same way if it's just the 4 cardinal directions and you just keep going those ways.
Yeah.
Like I do it where it's a 2x2, and then you go 2 spaces over, and then 3 spaces technically, and then you dig another 2x2. That way it exposes. The 2x2 shows the 8 blocks around it, and then you have another set of 8 blocks around the next strip line. So every single block is shown, at least in the area you're mining.
Yeah.
You just fucking like
Go.
go. I was like, I came across it because I have this huge ass cave near the mine I made at my house, and so much fucking gravel started to fall that I was getting pissed off.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hate gravel. Me and my homies hate gravel.
Yeah, because you try to build something under it to like support it, and then all of it falls. I'm like, what the fuck?
The torch is down.
Yeah, which is a good idea. But I was like, fuck it. This area is like kind of wide open now. I need to move on and get something that isn't so annoying to like clear out. And I start moving, and I find this one area where it's lava, and I find it with dirt. I'm like, that's weird. I've never seen lava with like dirt inside of the lava pool.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, that's weird. Okay, I put some water down and make it all obsidian.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around, and I see some areas are dug out, and I'm like, wait a minute, did I come here before? And I start walking around, and all of a sudden I come across this giant, like 1x2, like tunnel.
That goes on forever.
I'm like, I didn't do this. Who is this? And I
That
remember.
ain't me.
And like, I haven't played with you guys in real time, like at the same time.
Since we kind of started, basically.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to play with you guys in person, but I guess we just don't find the right times.
Yeah.
And then I just start moving, and I see the staircase, and it's like the smooth brick
Yeah.
stone type looking things. I'm like, oh, it's wrong.
With me?
I know where Robin is because Robin puts his torches on the ground. I put my torches on the wall.
Yeah, I always do that too because if there's water or lava or something, it's going to like take out the
In my
torch.
strip mines?
Yeah.
No, mine are always on the wall. What are you talking about?
Oh, they're on the same side. That's what
Yeah.
got me to realize it was you.
Yeah.
Because I always alternate. I go left.
Okay.
Right.
I do my uniform. Tyler does on the ground.
Aw.
Yeah.
I always do left, right, and then when I saw that it was all on one side, that's when it clicked for me.
I want it to look uncanny. I want it to be almost uncomfortable looking at the vast expanse of. I don't know how long this goes on.
You have
for.
the Soviet style architecture with everything you do,
Yes.
and like I'm trying to be more. I don't want to say authentic, but more like natural looking. Where
Brutalism is nice to me.
I often get lost because I'll be strip mining, but then I'll run into a cave and I'll be like, "Ooh, what's in here?"
Yes.
And then I'll get lost as fuck.
now
I think Minecraft really lends itself to brutalism.
now
Yes.
You know, everything's just straight edges.
Yes.
Now, I have figured out a small way to kind of orient yourself. Is whenever I enter a cave, you might see this if you get into the section where I've explored in the cave. I go 3 blocks tall with cobblestone, and then I put a torch on one of the sides, or 1 or 2, depending on what happens. And the way the torch is facing is the way you have to go to get out. And I've been doing that because the cave I'm in is a lot of like roundabouts. So it helps a lot to just have those little pillars. So you're like, oh, I have to go up, and then oh, I have to go left.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm starting to kind of test that type of stuff, but I really need to get back into like redstone because I never actually did much redstone. I'm one of those guys where it's like I know how to do the on-off switch.
Yeah.
I don't bother with much else because I didn't grow up playing Minecraft with a lot of redstone.
Yeah, I needed it back for the most part.
I mean, was it there from the beginning?
Yeah.
Not from the true beginning, but
It's expanded, right?
yeah, it's been there for a long time now.
Yeah, so maybe I just never had the interest of going that far.
Minecraft was from what, 2011, some shit like that.
Something like that.
I think Redstone was like 2013-ish.
I think like the very, very beginning was like 2007 when they were like
Yeah. It was
prototyping.
like, here's dirt.
Here's like a very plain looking block.
Minecraft came out in 2011.
Okay.
Now I think I keep telling people I stopped playing when Horse Armor became available.
Yeah.
So all the stuff between Horse Armor and the cave update is completely new to me.
Redstone came out in 2013.
I was right about that too.
So yeah, I played as a young kid. I don't know if I played when I was 13 or so.
I didn't hear about it. I only started playing Minecraft because I was dating someone and they showed it to me, and I wanted to be a cool kid. And I learned how to play Minecraft. And then I started playing with friends, but then the friends moved on to like actual games.
Roblox.
Roblox. Dude, I saw this this YouTuber, Pixelated Apollo. He's usually one of those guys who plays or watches people play the Total War games, and he like commentates on how their strategies are going. Because Total War is Total War. You can command like like cohorts of units.
Yeah.
And you like see what works and doesn't. And he's like, so guys, I wasn't expecting this to happen, but we're gonna be looking at what was it? 300 versus 300. No, 1300 versus 1300 Roblox Total War type fight. And so what they do is, and so he's explaining how like instead of having one giant server where everything just commits suicide because it's like too much load on the server.
Yeah.
They split it up into 9 different servers, and you can cross over into them occasionally. But like each server will communicate how many people have died in the fight and how many people have won certain fights.
Shit.
And it's this overall like 9 battlefield war. And he's just like, sorry guys, the text boxes are getting in the way, and it's like the Italians versus the Austro-Hungarians, and the Italian side was just like gelato, gelato. And I really wish I paid more attention to the text boxes, but some people were talking about like Lord Apollo is gonna save us or something.
Shit.
But it made me think, because I might have already told you guys. I don't know if I did this on the podcast. I saw something that said you can make like $150 an hour off of any video game. That's the only video game you're going to make money on. What would it be?
Yeah, you brought this up on the podcast. I think.
On the podcast, okay. Because like those two games have what it like Minecraft and Roblox have what it takes to kind of be one of those games. Roblox especially because they just kind of give you the tools and you make your own game mode. Which is exactly what this Total War-esque fight was like. They just built a giant 9-server war where the Italians were screaming gelato.
I finally moved into the big place Robin made for all of us on the Domino's server. I finally moved all my shit from the mine to Robin's house, and it made Tyler, our coworker, very, very happy. He's like, "Oh my god, Susan's finally moving in. Susan's finally putting things in her room. Like,
Yeah.
it's happening."
Now, what's the house like? Is it similar to our server where it's a
No,
lot of outward, like on the outside it's stone, but inside it's a lot of wood?
It's actually built into a ravine.
Okay.
What it is so you have kind of at the bottom of the ravine on one side because there's water all the way through. There's kind of a little like welcome area. You walk in and you can go straight right down into the mines. You walk up and on the right there's the enchanting table and there's the nether portal, all that. If you take a left, it's a bridge that goes across the ravine that's all enclosed. And then there's the farm, where you can take a right as soon as you get to the other side and you can go up. And up there's more farm stuff. You can take another right and go back across the ravine. It's all enclosed. And it's basically a bunch of bridges that go across the ravine that are all enclosed.
Okay.
But as you cross onto the other side, there's some big thing.
Yeah, I haven't thought about doing stuff like that because I usually, when I made my little bases, I've only really made traditional houses or in the side of the mountain. Because inside the mountain is usually like last case, like it's getting dark, I need to do something.
No, man, I love doing stuff that's like into mountain.
You know what would be kind of fun is if we did like a sky block or one of the ground block things, whatever the Rooster Teeth has been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But that costs money. It
Yeah,
kind of sucks.
I ain't about that.
And why wouldn't they make Skyblock free? Skyblock free.
Because you want it,
I know.
you'll pay money for it.
There was another one that I saw a while ago. It
There's-
was like ocean, like an island one, where you only got like 1 or 2 islands. What are you saying, Susan?
There's on I think it's Twitch. You can go to game modes, and they've got all the different things you can just play on there. I don't know if you can play with people. That's how I was playing Sky Factory.
You have to be on Twitch.
Yeah.
I don't know. That could be kind of fun though. Give us a little bit of time to live stream. Because people have been asking if we live stream. Hey,
All right, everybody, say bye bye.
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 So long.